Welcome to Vertical Football, and this is the Team Talk. Yeah, this is a show where we have the big guys on the podcast coming together to have a strong voice about things that are going on in the league, in the Premier League, as we will say. So in this particular one, we want to do a little dive, not so deep like that, but it's going to be deep because, you know, when you see these guys on the show, you expect something very deep. So we're talking about Chelsea, Arsenal, Manchester United, and Liverpool. And it's all things that just went on in these clubs. And we're going to do a preview after. So let me introduce the guys. You know them already, so there's no need for introduction. But Olusegun, welcome to the show.
Great to be here.
Yeah, so Kanmi, welcome to Team Talk.
Yeah.
I hope you guys are going to squeeze the juice out of this club and give it to these guys that are watching us. And before we go into it, we just want to give a big shout out to you guys. You guys have sticked with us and we really, really appreciate that. And we're promising to keep on giving you content that you guys love. So let's go right into it. And we're starting with the best team, or let me say the best player in the person of Mo Salah from the reigning champion. It's in the last 2 weeks now, it's been a back and forth between the club itself, the player and the coach. Liverpool, we know this season are having a very downtime, shaky period, wins here, losses all around. And Mo Salah came out to speak his mind, which is something that we find very unusual. He's not a guy who we always find in the press to talk, but this time he has spoken, and he spoke about him not having game time, him being thrown under the bus, and it feels like his relationship with the coach is damaged. Do you think he has spoken too much?
Obviously, I think it's clear. I think the incident of Mo Salah reminds me of particular incidents of Ronaldo and Manchester United.
Yeah,
the fact is the coach, I know the history of Mo Salah, and I know you have to respect that history. But also when you look at the fact, even before he was benched, the fan base were crying out for the fact that he should be benched. Everybody. So, and it's just like also Ronaldo's case in the sense of Ronaldo is one of the greatest of all time, if not the greatest of all time. But at the point when he was in Man United at that moment, you saw the decline. Except if you are blind, you saw the decline in terms of the legs were gone. And also when you see Mo Salah towards the end of last season, you could also see that the decline is there. So, but one thing about big players like this is the fact that they don't take their decline, very well. They still believe they are the top of the world. They should play every game. And sometimes their presence in that team might affect the overall performance of a team in a way. I'm not saying that's the reason why Liverpool is losing, but it might affect in a way. And so they don't always like to take it, easy, because for their whole career, they've always been playing
that guy.
They've always been that guy. They've always been a constant name in the lineup. But it's difficult for him, to take that new reality. But no matter what reality you are facing indoors, you have to respect your club. You have to respect your teammates. Respect your manager, even though you do agree with him. Don't go out and say, what he said to the media. So I think it's really, really sad from him, Sha.
Yeah. So what's your take about that?
My take is that yes, Mo Salah is a legend, and the first thing I notice is that when people are trying to relate about this issue or talk about this issue, the first thing that comes to people's mind that this is a legend, he has to be treated specially. But they have forgotten that the legend is also a player.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, when you leave the club, then they can refer and give you your honors, your accolades. I like players that actually knows what they are doing. And Mo Salah showed me that he knows what he's doing. But the problem is that there are some players that are good on the pitch, but with interviews, they are bad. This is an internal issue. What are you going to do? Make it internal. Have your fight with the coach internally. I feel that if other players, assuming it was Szoboszlai that was doing all this, a lot of people have thrown Szoboszlai under the bus. And by far for me, he's one of the best Liverpool players this season. But yet, it was not like that. But the problem is that people have bias towards legend. And there's also another bias that I notice also, that people are saying that, this is how Dutch coaches are behaving. My problem is that there is no player bigger than the club. Yes, you're a legend. I understand that fact. That is cool. But you can as well find a way of weighing out. And why you going there like, oh, the relationship between me and my coach is over.
Yeah.
So I think he did the wrong thing by watching his dirty linen in the open. But is he feeling sad? Yes. He felt bad because he felt that he should be the type of player that should play week out. But at the age of 30-something, I believe that in other coaches will have been bringing you in or even planning to reform you to another position. Maybe find a way to put you in a position that will help you better. But instead of that, he came out and I was disappointed with that. Yeah. But for me, whether Liverpool like it or not, I think it's high time that they must cut the ties and go.
Yeah, so for me, I look at the Salah thing, and one thing that strikes me the most is him speaking about the relationship with the coach. I used to have a relationship with this manager, then all of a sudden there is no relationship anymore. Like something would have transpired. That cannot be a Mo Salah issue alone. That would have been most maybe in the way the coach is communicating about the things that are going on. Probably, I want to say it's not maybe body language or he can even be formal, the way he speaks and all of those things. He is as much as he's a player, he's an human being. He would have decoded some messages here and there. Like, I used to talk to this coach before. Then what happened? Why is he not talking to me anymore? Why is he not explaining things to me anymore? But him coming outside to come and speak about it, I think he went too far in that space because Liverpool is not a club that you get to hear player manager kind of feud happen. But I think to some extent, he knows what he's saying, I would believe. You want to say something about that?
Yeah, so I think there are two things that are happening in this issue now. The fact that, and I see parallels with what happened with Cristiano, because for me it's exactly the same thing. It's just that Cristiano went to Piers Morgan's show. While he still spoke to the media. The same way Cristiano also lambasted Ten Hag in the media was the same way this guy said I have no relationship with. You understand? And Cristiano also said that promises were broken. This guy also said promises were broken. So to me, I see this. But the fact is, no matter how wrong you were, whatever promises, whatever the thing, and how wrong you were, they did to you, inside, keep it inside. You understand? Because you can be the victim, but you can fight that your victim position the wrong way. Don't forget it. You can be wronged, but your action after you are being wronged can also be wrong. And I feel when you come out to the media, what I feel he's trying to do, I feel Mo Salah knows what he's doing.
Exactly.
He knows that a lot of the fan base are against the manager. And he's trying to capitalize on that, in my opinion. And to me, I feel he's an African player, one of the greatest in this era. And I feel we have to call it out. You don't do that. You don't do that. So the same way, for me, I believe he should not play for Liverpool again. If Liverpool is a serious club, I think he should not play for them again. Because what precedent are you living in that club that, as you said, has been very quiet in terms of player-manager feud? What precedent? He knows what he's doing. Mo Salah would not say that if Liverpool is winning.
Exactly.
Right? He won't say that Liverpool will do, but he knows it's the right. So I think it's an attempt to divide the fan base, in my opinion. And also, I think there's also a bias. Yes, I know that it might have been wrong, but as I said, keep it indoors. But also, I think there's always a bias, unknown bias in the world of football, that everything that is wrong with the team is always the manager's fault. It's a lie.
It's a lie.
If the team is not playing well, it's the manager's fault. So, and I think sometimes we take responsibility of the 11 guys on the pitch. You understand? And also, we should not also look at the fact that this is a manager that could have decided to sell Mo Salah in the first year he came.
Exactly.
He could have decided to sell Mo Salah, and I don't think there will be a lot of questions up till now.
He
could have decided to let Mo Salah go. So I just feel that you should have settled their team inside, and since he decided to bring it forward, I think the same action that Man United did to Cristiano should be done to Mo Salah. Let's now see the club that will sign Mo Salah.
So to digress a little bit, now it's more like the board of football is coming with the idea like Mo Salah is, I don't want to say he's the problem. I don't want to say he's not the problem, but you find out the matches that he was taken out of the pitch or not played at all, those matches, Liverpool went on to win them. But whenever they bring him into the pitch, it's kind of like there is always this chaos here and there, and they just end up losing the match or drawing the match. Do you think he's actually the problem?
You know one thing that people don't understand, that psychologically, there's carcass everywhere. One thing that I always tell people is that Mo Salah have his own pack in that team. And that is true. And there are some set of players, because I noticed that Van Dijk came out also and said what he did was wrong, something like that.
Yeah.
I just read the headline, something was wrong. But I feel that there's carcass. And I know that there are some players that are favorable to Mo Salah. But if Salah is playing bad, and a player like Ekitike that shows promises from the beginning of the season, I think is ideal for the manager to actually say, oh, Salah, you know what, have the bench. This guy is performing right now. Let's use him. But the problem here is that Mo Salah understands that fans, he want to use the sympathy card. That's the same thing Cristiano Ronaldo want to use, but he backfired too.
Yeah.
The sympathy card, whereby the fans will now say, oh, we want Slot out, because fans already want Slot out.
Yeah.
So he wants to use that sympathy card, and he knows that he has some pack in the dressing room that will go in favor for him. And this is what I want to stop. In as much that we don't want coach to maltreat players, we also don't want player power. That is what we don't want. A player deciding that another player should stay or go, or a manager to stay or go, doesn't make the work easier. So I believe that it will be coincidence that Salah is playing and something happened. But from the football point of view, the team was poor.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes. So I don't want to use Salah as a scapegoat and say, oh, Salah, you're doing something wrong. But the dynamic of the team will become more bad now that he has spoken. Now, there's no chemistry between him and the manager.
Yeah.
Tell me, what will now happen in a few days when Salah is being benched? There will be revolt in the dressing room from some set of players. That means it is not, I'm just thinking out loud now, it is not only Salah that we have to leave at the end of the season. Some of his pack have to
I don't think it's going to happen like that. I think football is much more an individual sport that everybody is looking for their career. Nobody will leave Liverpool because Salah is leaving. Salah has made his own name. I'm here to make my own name. Yeah,
definitely.
Sometimes there's also players that are very happy that is having this issue so that they can also see game time. So I don't think they might do solidarity with him in private, but in public, man, they want their own slot.
They want their own slot.
So let's move on from that topic, because I think this is going to go a little bit longer, because there's a whole lot of things to say about it. So now, Salah having this feud with the manager and the club, what do you think the next step it is for Liverpool? Are they selling Salah and buying a replacement? And if that's going to be the case, where do you think Salah is going to end up, and what do you think the replacement for this guy can be?
I think a time comes for every beautiful career, and football has always showed us, when you look at different clubs and not every legend finishes on a good note with the team. That's football. It happens that way. So, but I think Liverpool should let Salah go. It's the time has come. So, I think Salah should. I don't know where he goes to really, but I'll be surprised to see. Yeah, I think Saudi is best,
or the MLS.
I think Saudi. Yeah, I don't think he will be in a top 5 league, maybe top 2. I don't think he'll be the top 3 leagues in Europe. So I think we're going to. I think Saudi will be a nice place. The guy is a Muslim, so I think he will enjoy. He will enjoy that with his family. So whoever Liverpool is going to buy, obviously has to be a left footer for the balance of the team. Yeah. And who is the left footer now? So that's the question. So I think it's something that we have to look deep into. But I think that should be a left footer, because I don't think they are forward as that left foot.
That left foot. All right. So what do you think the case is going to be? Who do you think Liverpool can bring in?
Liverpool should just cash in on Salah this January. They should just let him have that, really. And there was a time they said Saudi came with 100 million.
Yeah, definitely.
At one point. And now that there's a problem, maybe they will come with 50 million. They just cut their losses. Yeah. In fact, he had a beautiful career already, and has given Liverpool all he can do. Yeah. And you just let him go. But for me, I believe that while they are looking for left footer, I think there's a player. They also need a versatile player too. Yeah. And a player like Semenyo will have worked perfectly if they are interested, really. Now, because he used both legs, and he can as well fill in for Salah, and peradventure later on he can also play different roles. He's a versatile player, and I think Liverpool need player like that, someone like that in their team. So Semenyo will not be a bad addition, but as Liverpool, they go with data. They look at they are good in finding players, right profile. And if they have known that Salah, things like this will happen.
Yeah.
Luis Diaz will not have left, but who cares? It's a game of football.
Yeah.
Things happen. But I believe that Semedo will be good. But if they can just push it to the end of season and just wait till the summer to get a well-dated, analyzed player that can give them the spark they need, I think they will go for that. And right now, I think they have players that can really fit in for the meantime. And if they want to go to January, they can just go for Semedo for now.
Yeah.
So I think so. Let me even add something. You know, beginning of the season, there was a time we did an episode where I said if I was Liverpool's owner, I would iron Saka. But so that Liverpool's position has now shaken.
Yes.
If it's that Liverpool were like going to win the second league, for
Saka
me, I think Saka would have been the best, really. But now the thing has changed. Arsenal is not the one on top.
I doubt
Do you
if they
think
would
Saka will
say
have to leave Arsenal for Liverpool?
No, that's why I said now it has changed. So that point doesn't really make sense again. Because if that Liverpool were topping the table for the second season running, and Arsenal is doing what Arsenal is doing, I'm telling you, you have to be aggressive. Saka, funny enough, now it's a different situation now because Arsenal is on top of the table. But the fact is, if Arsenal is on top of the table, the question I would tell Saka is, do you really want to win something?
It will be tempting, but I still have the at the back of my mind, like, it will not go.
It will not go.
But Arsenal has an issue of their top players leaving. So you don't know what is brooding in Saka's mind.
That definitely.
So for now, it doesn't work again now.
It can never work, even never before.
So speaking about Arsenal, I think that's another club we should check what is going on in that particular one, because you even see, like you said, they are top of the table. Nice performance from the beginning, well structured in the defense, the middle phase of the pitch. In the attack, they are trying their best. In the goalkeeping situation, I think they have one of the best keeper in the league, if not
the best keeper
in the league, and they have backups for all of these guys. So now we are coming into a space where we are seeing Arsenal come up with a whole lot of injuries this season. We have seen the two centre-back went out of the squad. We have seen Odegaard go and come back. We have seen Saka go and come back. We have seen
sickness.
What's his name? Goycores go and come. Madueke. We can keep mentioning this player and we just see how injury is a problem. How much problem do you think injury can cause for Arsenal?
Yeah, so I think the Premier League, there's one thing we usually say about the Premier League. The Premier League is in seasons. There's summer, winter, autumn, and spring.
Yeah.
So, and a team that wins the league is a team that can wither any storm that comes their side in different seasons. Yeah. Arsenal is just in a new season. As I said, beginning of the season, they were
very strong
getting out this thing. But now it's another season. And I think they also should have known how to weather the storm. I don't think with the number of injuries, I think there has to be question marks around the fitness work they did in the summer. You can't get this number of injuries. I know the number of games are there also. I know the intensity of the games are there also. But the fact is, we're also seeing teams that are going to that same number of intensity.
Yeah,
and are still able to. So something is not wrong with the conditioning of the players physically.
Yeah.
And I think they have to look into that. They have to look into that. So they need their players to be top shape, and there's no rest now.
Top shape, definitely.
And the way the football is, a lot of games, and these guys play unnecessary international matches.
Yeah. Exactly.
And most of them are starters for their national team. So there's no time of rest. So I think they have to look into that. But nevertheless, it's another season. And as a champion, if you want to become a champion, you have to find a way to grind out results in this period.
Yeah, definitely. So let's speak from another perspective here. We have seen Arteta do less of rotation.
That's what I was saying.
Which is something we found. A majority of people, when we see it, we see like, this is crazy. You have the squad. You need to keep on finding a way. Maybe when you're leading 2-0 or 3-0, take out these good guys and put these people and just make sure they secure the results. What do you think about Arteta now utilizing that rotational part of football?
I've said it many times on this platform that Arteta don't really take risks. Arteta take calculated risks, which is not bad, really.
Yeah.
He doesn't go. It's like, for me, it's like he doesn't trust some players, and which is obvious. Now, let me give you an example. Odegaard had injury, and throughout last season, he was on and off. It's the same thing. Yeah. Now, this season, Odegaard went off and off. He have easy and easy feeling, and everybody say, "Oh, we are back." But the problem now is that there's a player called Waneri Dorman. At one point, they came on board, but it is easy for you to know the substitution of Arteta in the team. Let me give you a perfect example. If Saka is leaving the game, you know that it's not Madueke.
Yeah.
If this guy if he's substituting, what's this guy name? Lisandro.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Martinelli.
It's been Martinelli.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can just say, okay, let me bring him Madueke.
Yeah.
You never see anything out of the blue.
box. Yeah.
Just like that. And these players, last season, Saka alone, for years past now, he have been playing 2,000 plus games. Look at that. Rice the same thing too.
Yeah.
So it shows that Arteta have some players that he doesn't want to use. And he never do that. And I don't know why he's doing that way too. That's one. Number two about Arteta in this squad rotation team, in this squad is that we saw this Gabriel and Saliba injury coming. Because you cannot have player that is that aggressive, that play every match, and you don't just switch it up. So I believe that the injury problem is number one from Arteta not rotating his team. Number two is from, I'm asking myself, for years now, Arsenal doctors, what are they doing? Their fitness coach, what are they doing? Because you cannot win a league, like Cheku said, and you don't have something off your heart to give out. Now, in the last match, he has to use Nogard. Nogard that should have played in the midfield in some certain match, even against Aston Villa. I felt that he should have come in at one point. But no, because there is no other opportunity. He put him there. I know a lot of fans will tell me, do you know what he's seeing in the training ground? Yes, he's seeing a lot, but there's nothing bad in saying, let me give this guy 10 minutes. Let this guy rest for 5 minutes. Okay, let me start this guy on the first half. But I'm not saying that Arteta do not take that type of risks that every other manager that truly that wins the league takes. That's for me though.
Yeah, so one thing I see is I think he's so wrapped up in the emotion of I must win something that he's not trying to do anything out of the blue. Just make sure, this plan that I have set, I will go and use it. And since that I see that it's working, I will just keep on using it till it gives me the result. So I think that's one of the things why you look like, will I have to remove Declan Rice and put Nogard into this team? Will it not change the whole dynamic of the way I want to play? If you are putting yourself into Arteta's mind, what do you think can be his valid reason for not using rotation?
So I think the fact about the matter is Arteta is a manager that he is fearful.
Yeah, definitely. I think that.
Because for me, I have one theory about the fact that Saka's prime. Saka's prime. There was a period where he was at the peak. I felt that prime could have lasted longer. I had that form. Let me not use prime. That form could have lasted longer if Arteta was wise in how he managed to utilize. There were some games where they were leading 3-0.
Take the ball.
Arsenal was playing more beautiful football then, and Saka was like everywhere. Remove this boy. No, he will leave the boy. He will prefer to move another person. He will leave the boy there. You understand? And so he has always been like that. And it's good to bite you back. And I think it's beginning to bite him back. But I think it should not be in this kind of season where you have,
best chance
because you have that kind of players that can come in and also do something. I see the last game now. See what Madueke did in their Champions League game. 2 goals in their last game. 2 beautiful goals. So you should be much more free to make changes, right? To manage the workload of those players. And also look at it, for example, even Arteta was a manager that was also giving people opportunities. There's no reason why they should be buying Eze, who's around 27 years. When you have a one area. If you are giving that boy the necessary chance at the time the boy was meant to play, by now the guy would have grown to fill that role. Yeah, definitely. But because he doesn't give people chances, he's always so. And there's a manager that get pass. They don't actually which academy has. It's only Skelly. Yeah, I know. Skelly. Yeah. Only Skelly. And Skelly said was not a natural inclusion, an injury. Yeah. So I think he has to do more. They are talents.
And the funniest thing about this issue is that you can see it week in, week out. That this man, like against Wolves now, these Wolves that's coming on board, I believe that there should be a rotation to the point that some players have to rest.
Definitely. But I don't think he has a choice anymore.
But now there's a period whereby the reserve, the players that you felt that...
Are they even in rhythm?
Yeah, have the game rhythm. Yeah. Are they in shape? When you bring them in, can they meet up with that standard?
Because you have meant to give them at least a game time.
Yeah.
Everybody is hammering on a particular coach right now, not giving a player some time. But that player is easily having 10 minutes, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
None of these guys, especially Nogard, have 5 minutes. Now, if Raya, I am not saying anything bad, if Raya have maybe a hand injury, Kepa have to start from the bare minimum.
Yeah, definitely.
And there are some matches that just have to say, okay, you know what, Kepa, keep this.
Take the pole.
Take the pole.
Yeah.
It helps. I know there's this bias that you don't change a winning team. Yes. But at one point, I said it beginning of this season, you don't play, most of our life, you don't play this way from the beginning of the season by struggling to score with your best team. And now it shows that there's issues with their fitness. Because you don't imagine that we just played about 15 games now. We're in the 16, going to the 16 games. And they have almost the highest injury right now. Even Mosquera that just played a few games had injury.
Yeah.
It shows something. So I think the problem, number one, is Arteta. Number two, maybe they need a dietitian. Somebody that can easily look at this player. What are you eating?
Yeah.
These are things that you need to watch out.
Into it.
Go deep.
Yeah.
So that you will not lose player on and on. And for more understanding, one of their doctors left their this thing and go to a particular club and the same thing happened. Something is definitely wrong. Maybe there's something wrong.
No, I don't think it's that.
I'm just saying.
Because the club that the doctor went to also had injury crisis before the doctor came.
I know.
So injuries are part of football.
I'm just saying. I'm not saying that it's a doctor. I'm saying that there is something wrong in the core that they need to fix. Now, the problem now is that Man City also had a similar injury last season. And this season, they also have the same injury. Maybe there's something off about the training we need to know. Maybe it's the resting time. That means Arteta need to say, okay, you need to rest. Because right now, I cannot stop any team. We cannot stop injuries, but we can manage injury. Part of team depth is to know how to also manage your players to the point that another player that is coming in, we have little time. May not be the best, but we have little time to enjoy it.
So to take it from there, I just think they need to do a whole lot about that part so they will not affect their own self in the grand sense. And we're speaking about the grand sense now. Arsenal is stopping the league, and we all are believing that this should be their season because we are looking at it in respect to other clubs.
Yeah.
Manchester United, Chelsea,
Man
Liverpool,
City.
Manchester City. Everybody looks around like they are shaky. They are not in their best form. And you look like the only club who has the better opportunity to go and win this league. So now let's speak about the league. Do you think they still hold the chance to win this league, given all of that we have spoken about now?
Yeah, they are first on the table, so obviously they are favorites. But the league is not about who is favorite; it's about who wins. And so I think the last 4 games has really been tough for them in terms of draws and in terms of loss. Now I think they lost the last game that's against Aston Villa. They drew against Chelsea. They won against Brentford. They drew against Sunderland. You know, so it has not been that win-win-win. And in that period, Man City has been gaining ground.
Aston Villa itself has been
gaining ground. So the more pressure on them, their injury crisis. But I think it's under season, as I said, summer, autumn, and spring. Let's see how they survive this. You know, and I think they have to just get results. I think this time they need their. They see corner, or they need whatever they used to do. They just need to get results. Need to get results.
All right. So let's talk about the world champion. Let's talk about Chelsea.
Let's just talk about one thing about us now winning the league. The boys in their courts. And I'm telling you that Arteta himself can actually turn this over. In the game of football and the grand scale of things, Arsenal still have upper hand. Yes, Aston Villa, Liverpool, or Aston Villa, Man City are gaining momentum. But there's no sure, you don't trust them down to the point where you can say, okay, Arsenal can do it too. If Arteta can just find, this is the time I want Arteta to start grinding that result. I don't care whether you play beautiful. This is the time for you to say, okay, to hell with it, let's get it done. So what Arteta needs to do now is, there are some players that needs attention. Get them in. There are some players that are playing below par right now. Because of service or anything. this is time for them to say, okay, you have to step up. Now, since you have defensive issue, a way for you to cover your defensive issue is to score many goals.
Yeah.
Score the goals. Score the goals that create that fear in the heart of the team and say, okay, this is what we want to do. And I think that he may end up winning the league. But for now, they are in the driving seat and it's theirs to lose.
Yeah, it's theirs to lose. So let's go into Chelsea. Yeah, we have spoken about Arsenal, we have spoken about Liverpool. Now let's talk about the next London guy who is in Chelsea. And in recent times, we have been seeing some inconsistency, which I believe is not a news anymore in the league. We have known this, like this is a group of young boys, and these are expected things that you will find in a young squad. Please walk us through about what you see from your perspective about inconsistency at the club. Why do you think these things are happening?
Yeah, I think so. Before your team becomes inconsistent on the pitch, sometimes you have to look at how you carry out your activities in the boardroom. Chelsea has been inconsistent in the boardroom, and also you expect that you'll be inconsistent on the pitch. I said it before the beginning of the season, the number of changes Chelsea made in the transfer window was too much for a team that made the ground of winning the Conference League and the Club World Cup. I felt, not that you will not change, but also the pace of changing things, you know. For example, now, Chelsea has 4 wingers, right, currently. Kanmi, 3 of them are new signings. Garnacho, Estaval, and Gittins. You have 2 strikers, right? 2 strikers. Okay, you have 3 strikers, but 2 of the 3 strikers are new signings.
Yes.
It's not a good thing. It's not, so the number of players that have to adapt to the team, adapt to the manager, adapt to this player is too much. You have too much adaptation. I feel that's why you are seeing the inconsistencies in a way. Also, you said it's a young team, which is also a new thing in the sense of young team, either young in terms of age or young in terms of assembling, right? It's normal thing in football. You will still have to have inconsistencies. Sometimes you have inconsistency in terms of mental capacity, in terms of they always focus on big games and less focus on
the smaller.
So that's like the progression of a normal thing. But I feel that Chelsea fans should not make a big deal out of it. Next season, so far they don't make many more changes. So because last season they had some grounds they made that they should have continued with. But I just feel that the inconsistencies are a normal thing. Because a lot of people that need to adapt and get used to the game.
Definitely. So let's look at another viewpoint here. We still speaking about inconsistency. Let's go into the defensive part of this club. This is a space where we have seen a whole lot of numbers of players in that particular space, but it still always look like he's leaking. What do you think is the problem, and how do you think they get out of this place?
I'm still saying what Olusegun said. I'm just going to do a bit of rider, and that is the transfer policy. You see, in as much that they are young set of players, nobody will always think that Chelsea will not get a very good defender. They got Arto, right? Arto. But the issue here is getting players in to a certain club that always have injury crisis, especially at the back. I believe that back line should have been one of the priority for Chelsea during the season. I don't know what they are doing, because when I saw the deal for Arto, I said, okay, fine. I was expecting that maybe one more player can just come in to help them. In fact, I believe that Chelsea need more versatile players than specialists. What do I mean by that? Now, a player that come rain, come shine, you can see him play. I know Caicedo is like that, but you cannot change Caicedo from the midfield, really, for now.
He can play right back.
He can play right back. You have seen him Brighton. But you need more versatile player. I think while they are targeting young players, they need to also target players in this outside that can actually complement the team. But they forfeit in that angle. Now, and the player they brought in is not in the level of Chelsea.
Definitely.
So that is another issue. That is not about buying plenty. It's at least buying something quality. If it is one person you can buy in that back line, that person should be the commanding force and say, if I'm having a bad game, you should not have a bad game. If I'm off the bench, you should do better. I think in that back line, there is no push. There's no competition. Like, everybody is relaxed. And for me, it's not the fault of the player or the manager. It's the fault of the management. Their transfer policy is very, very bad.
Yeah. So I agree with the transfer policy of it. And I think the idea of getting in young players, you just know, like when you're bringing in young players, you're also bringing in inexperienced players. And you're looking at the center back position, even going backwards, going to like 2023 before we started doing all of these rough buys and buys everywhere. You're looking at we having the like of Thiago Silva,
Yes,
carrying the other guys like Chaluba, carrying the other guys like Cowell, like Fofana, like being that guy who pushes all of them to do the job. Like when this guy is in his best, or when even he's not in his best, you know, like he has the experience, he can push through all of these tough times. But you are putting two guys who, you know, these are just guys of the same level. Who is leading who is pushing who. So I think the transfer policy puts us in a very difficult space. And we almost try to solve it. But like I've always said, you go to the market and get what you think you need. But eventually, when you try to use it, you find out this is not actually what I needed. In the person of Tosin, we believed, or we thought, that he was going to be that guy for Chelsea who would be that main guy and carry the other guys along. But unfortunately, it's just a different thing. But I think at this point in time, we just have to come to a realization of break the transfer policy. Get the guys that you need. Even if it is just two, get them there and make sure that place is secured for the years to come. So let's go into another.
You don't break it. I think maybe restructure. Having young player in also helps too. So I think maybe you can bring a young player that have experience.
No, I think sorry. For the Chelsea's defense, it's not about age, because I think it's just about a consistent signing of bad signings in the defense.
Exactly.
You guys bought Koulibaly at one point, man.
Exactly.
But Ashile also is looking like today, you give about him tomorrow, is not this thing. So it's just been like the people you have gone for in the defense have not been top quality.
Exactly.
So maybe it's the scout that you have to fire and get a new scout.
Or maybe they should just get AI.
Because for example, now, if I want to ask now, there's no reason why Chelsea is not in talks with Mark Guehi.
Exactly.
I think they're in talk, but it's just that's the point. We're going back to the transfer policy of a team. You get a club where they tell you, oh, when it's 25 and above, we don't want to bring him into the team. When it's requesting for this certain amount of salary, we don't want to.
They just restructure. Let them restructure.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Break it and do something. Oh, you put a clause. Oh, we can allow this and allow that.
Restructure it.
Yeah. So
because I want one thing they want in the Premier League is that every team in the Premier League should have at least, in those days when you're playing, you know, you can see Carvalho and John Terry.
Yeah.
And you know that Carvalho John Terry is facing players like what's this guy name in Liverpool? You know, Skete and
Suarez,
that's David Aga in the back line. We have Ferdinand Vidic. Yeah. And these are the quality we want. Not seeing Tosin Arabiayo forgetting himself standing.
But one thing I would like us to just address, thank God we even come into this issue. When you look at the likes of Ferdinand, you look at Carvalho, we all mentioned, we look at Vidic, you look at John Terry, you look at all of these guys that we used to adore now. They came into this league young. They never came in at 26. They were young when they came in. Yeah. Are we speaking now about the quality of players?
That's why I said that. That's why I said it's not about age. It's not about age, it's quality. I think also when you look at Chelsea has gotten defenders from leagues that are not known to be producing good defenders. Look at it. I know Koulibaly was Italian Serie A, but you understand, it has always been the consistent use of bad defensive signings. Yeah. And at one point when this Boyle era started, I think you guys spent a lot on defenders.
Exactly.
A lot. And it did not work out. So that's why maybe now you start looking at, okay, who are the top defenders in the Premier League?
Exactly.
That are doing well, that understand the league. Guehi is one of them. Yeah. When you look at again, you look at that person, look at other clubs, look at, you understand? Yeah. But if you, for example, why is Ato a signing for Chelsea?
Yeah, definitely. I think I question that particular signing.
I mean, why is?
I feel like it's more of a fear of not wanting.
Why are you even getting the defender from Eredivisie?
It's 18 years, and why you still have Badiashile?
How much did you guys get?
40 million.
So
40 million.
I think they have to just make sure that you just need solid guys. You need men,
young and quality.
It doesn't even matter whether you're young. Just get quality people.
Get quality. I think quality is the most important one.
If they don't want to break their transfer policy, but they want to structure, bring in young and quality. Leave it. And I think Premiership players, any player from outside Premiership take time to adapt.
No, okay, let me ask some question. How old is Mark Bailly?
That should be 25.
25, 26.
So how old is
Young.
João Pedro?
João Pedro is 24.
So what's the
It's
difference?
the same thing.
Yeah.
So get people that
Get
are
them.
proven.
Yeah, it's on the management. I just think they just need to check what is going on, look at the right profile, and just
get
his money,
get
just
players,
get them and bring them
yes,
into the
sir.
club. So let's go into the all circulating news in the club, which is becoming more like a talk here and there, and is in the issue of squad depth in the club. I know you have a position about it, and we just want to talk about it and dissect it. Do you think this club has a squad depth issue?
I don't think you have a squad depth issue.
No.
Okay.
Because I think in almost every position, you have 3 strikers currently.
Yeah.
You have Mark Gui. You have João Pedro that can play as your
10
as a striker.
Yeah.
and
In some games, you have Delap. You have Bonanote.
Yeah.
You have Kopama that can play as the number 10, right?
Yeah.
You have Santos. You have Enzo Fernandez. You have
Istanbul.
Sugu. Abi?
Yeah.
You know.
You have bought players. You have 4 wingers.
Yeah.
There's some teams that don't even have 3 wingers. You have 4 wingers. Yeah.
Mm.
So you have players that can. You have Cucurella. You have Hato. You have.
Yeah.
So I think you have players. You have James. You have. So I think the discussion should not be about squad. The discussion should be about the people you bought
Yeah.
to form the squad. Are they good enough? That should be the question.
Okay, you can see.
No. So that should be the question. So it's not a matter because every position I mentioned, you have at least 2 players that can play there.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
those 2 players, I want to ask a question now. Is there any position in that team that you say the gap between the person, except from Caicedo,
Yeah.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And maybe Cucurella, which are stars, which normally is difficult to get because those
Yeah.
guys will play most of your games, right?
Yeah.
But apart from those 2 people, right, is there any position in Chelsea where the gap between the starter and the second person is that big?
No.
I think in the centre back is a problem. In the goalkeeping situation, it's
Centre back,
definitely a problem.
who exactly?
The stable centre back we have at Chelsea, I believe, if everybody was in fine shape, should be Fofana and Colwill, or Fofana
Okay.
or Colwill and Chaluba.
Okay.
But you know, one of these guys will always not be available, and let's just pin that on Fofana not being available. So
Okay.
we say Colwill and Chaluba. So
Okay.
if these 2 guys are not around, who are you having in the club? Hossein and Badiashile. They are
So-
far away from their.
No, but
No,
I think
no,
it's not far away.
I believe they are far away.
I think-
I think you are looking at names, and
It's not
when
the
you
name.
see the quality of
No,
play,
no.
you know that these guys
Okay,
are far away.
so it's just like now. Let's say Kobe. Let's rate Kobe. I
Yeah.
say Kobe is like maybe a 75%.
okay,
You understand?
Yeah.
So if you're anything about Chile, you say that Chile is like on a good day, or no, let me just say you say like that Chile is like a 60,
Yeah.
yeah,
and that gap-
75
and
to
that-
60.
and that 15
Yeah.
is good for a squad depth.
I
Exactly.
think that's too
It's good
much.
for a squad
That's
depth.
too much. If we want to bring a light to it, let's go to Saliba and Mosquera.
Those ones are starters. That I said.
No,
that's why I
Mosquera
said-
is not a starter.
No. Saliba. There are some teams. See, there are some.
You cannot change.
When you are forming the squad depth of a team,
Yeah,
there are some positions where the person that starts them will most likely play 80 to 90% of the game.
Exactly.
So in that place, in that kind of position, it's accepted that the gap between the starter and the
Should
be wide.
Exactly.
For example,
should be wide.
should be
Yes.
wide because, for example, now, are you telling me you want to go and get a player that can start and be benching him for Caicedo? You can't, because Caicedo will most likely play.
I'm trying to look for a perfect example.
So no,
So-
the
so
issue
let
is
me
that
just-
the issue is that Caicedo will most likely play
Yeah,
almost all your games, right?
definitely.
If it's fit. So
yeah.
it was like, so the person you're going to get to be a sub to Caicedo can't be as quality.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're not asking for quality. No, we're not saying it should be the same quality. The
gap.
difference
That's what we're talking
should not
about.
be too much.
So you cannot tell me now that
Yeah.
Colwill, if it's like a Van Dijk you had in your team
Yeah.
and you're having a Balashili, I will say the gap
The
is
gap
high.
is high.
Yeah.
But you can't tell me that Colwill and Balashili, the gap is
No.
wide.
It's
No.
very wide.
Not.
If you want to look at the profile, that I think we will stop. We just have to find a middle ground.
There's
or
a gap there.
something.
15% is a decent
Yes.
gap.
15% is.
Shaggy, let me just
Yeah.
say something. You know one thing that the word is not even squad depth. I see people saying squad depth. It is bad depth.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't
Bad
have-
depth.
You have squad depth
I think, is it even bad depth?
because they brought.
I think we need to start clarifying. I think the issue of squad depth is because maybe we don't get the definition of squad
It's
depth. And I
not-
know we have argued about this of
Let
like.
me- let me
What's
explain.
the
I
definition
believe the
of squad depth?
definition of squad depth is
Mm.
the quantity of player that you have and the quality.
Okay, now we have accepted
You accepted your
quantity
own.
now is that every position of Chelsea, there are two
Yeah.
players that can play there.
Exactly,
Yeah.
that's quantity.
That's quantity.
Yeah.
Quality. That's why I asked you. Now mention at least a team of 11 players.
Mm-hmm.
If you can mention 4 out of 11 positions,
Yeah.
apart from the goalkeeper now, because the goalkeeper, even goalkeeper,
Yeah.
Yeah,
why you believe that the gap between the starters and the second person is very, very wide?
Where?
I don't get the question.
No. So in a team of 11 now,
Yeah.
right? 11 team of 11 now.
Yeah.
We've addressed the fact of quantity.
Yeah. Quantity.
In terms of-
there is quantity in the
There's
Chelsea
quantity
squad.
there,
Yeah.
right? Some positions even have 3 players.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So now, can you tell us the positions in Chelsea squad where the gap between the first that's the starter,
Yeah.
all case being equal,
Equal. Yeah.
and the second person where the gap is too wide?
Tell me one.
Definitely now from the goalkeeper Sanchez and what's his name?
Sanchez and Jorgensen.
Jorgensen.
I know Sanchez is on form currently,
Yeah.
but at the beginning of the season, you could not say
You
Sanchez.
cannot
And,
say it.
It's obvious, even if you look at Jorgensen,
mention.
if you look at
Okay, we
Jorgensen,
give you Sanchez.
I
don't say you give
at
this
the
Sanchez.
beginning,
It's the
no,
reality
at the
of what
beginning,
it
at the
is.
beginning.
Yeah.
That's how I was saying. I wanted to say apart from the goalkeeper at the beginning because I know that in almost all teams in the Premier League,
Yeah,
the goalkeeper is a special position.
Exactly.
definitely.
So let's assume. Yeah, mention it.
Sanchez, the centre backs,
Okay.
Mhm.
the 2 centre backs,
Mention
the guys that are coming out.
Who are
of
your
this position.
starting centre
I will
backs?
start
Starting.
everything, all team being equal.
If you say Colwill and Fofana,
Fofana.
do you know that Balashile is not your second choice after
Exactly.
this? What of Chaloba and what do you call it? Chaloba
The point with Fofana, you cannot get a 38 match game. That's the point.
No.
with
All
Fofana.
things being equal.
Quality you got.
Fofana has showed you that you cannot
Oh God,
get
you're
all
not
things
getting
being
it.
equal. There are some situations that you know, like we justified for the goalkeeper. There are some situations that you know that this guy, since he has been playing in the Premier League, he has never given us a 38 game.
See what?
Okay.
Even as Leicester, before he came to Chelsea, he never gives that.
Okay.
So you know you cannot pin on this guy.
Okay.
So the 2 guys that are going to be substituting for him, Tosin, Chaloba, they are not Tosin.
I don't think.
Fofana.
I
don't think so.
I for one don't think the gap between Fofana. I know these guys, Colwill and Fofana. I know they were fantastic players.
Yeah.
But you cannot tell me the gap between Fofana and Colwill is that big a gap
Exactly.
than
Fofana and Kobe.
Chaloba and Tosin. I know current form now is making it to look like at the beginning of the season when you were constructing your squad
Yeah.
depth, the gap there
Was not
there's a
big.
gap.
Yeah.
Because those guys are better than the ones you said after.
Yeah.
But the gap there is not wide.
He's
at the
not even
beginning.
up to
I
30%.
feel like we are still looking at names.
It's
It's
not
not looking at
names.
what these guys
It's
are
not
doing.
names.
We are
Chaloba is
looking
a-
as
Chaloba is a decent player.
yeah,
Chaloba is a very, very good player. Very good. Very, very good player. At least
No.
he's a decent player.
Michelle,
I can tell you that there are some defenders that are starters for other teams that are not as good as Chaloba.
are they in the level of Chelsea?
That's why it's not your
That's
start-
what you will put.
That's why it's
Chaloba
not
at
your
Crystal
starter.
Palace is great. You understand
That's
that?
why
Because
it's
this
not
is
your
the level
starter.
of Crystal Palace.
Wait. Let me give you a view
Okay.
on this now. You are saying Colwill and Fofana.
Yeah.
Now, Fofana will not give you 30 games in the
Yeah.
season. Maybe give you 15. Now, Fofana himself, injury has already made him a predicament.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now, if Fofana is fit, you will not even remember that there is somebody called Tosin, because that is what he's going to do to assist when he has injury or maybe he has sickness.
Yeah.
Now, he is always injured. You know that from the beginning of season,
Mm-hmm.
right? Now, the distance between him and plus the injury, because when you are talking about squad depth, look at the injury of the person playing the place already. The distance between him plus the injury is not as far from Tosin. Why?
I want to ask a question. I
want to just conclude
Wait,
this.
I want to ask a question. Just to
Yeah.
assist what he's saying. In the sense of, if Fofana is your first on the right-hand side, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
Let's assume Chaloba is the second, right?
Yeah.
Let's assume Chaloba is the second, right? Now, mention, what do you rate Fofana? What do you rate Chaloba in terms of percentage?
In terms of percentage, Chaloba and Fofana.
Yes.
I think for Chaloba, I should put Chaloba on a 70, on a 72, 73.
Percentage.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I should put Fofana 75.
Is the gap much?
Between the two of them,
Mhm.
these are the you say if they are the starters.
No, I
on the
say
right and the
first
left.
and
Shaluba.
no,
Shaluba.
your starter.
Fofana and
Your starter
Shaluba.
is Colwill and Fofana.
Yeah.
All things being equal.
Yes.
Abi?
Yeah.
So the second choice is going to be for that right hand side. If you're not using Fofana, you use Chalobah.
Yes.
Abi?
Mhm.
Yes.
So the gap between Fofana and Chalobah, rate them. If it's
gap-
first and second.
No, definitely the gap between Fofana and Chalobah is not that much.
Okay, so that one has cancelled
That's
now.
a cancel.
That one no go now.
Abi?
That one no go.
No, you are beginning to play a dirty
No,
game.
it's not a dirty game now.
It's a dirty game. You have to remove a player for a player. Don't compare.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what we're saying. We're saying squad depth. These guys will be. Then look at what
There's
you
right
have.
and
Are
left
they
centre
coming
back.
The fact is that look at the
Right
goalkeeper.
and
No,
second back.
let's quickly go through this team quickly.
Yeah.
When I mention the player, you give me the rating. First and second choice now. Sanchez. Rating.
What kind of rating?
Over 100.
Over 100. I should put Sanchez on a 75.
Jorgensen.
Jorgensen should be around 60.
60,
Look at the
50%.
distance. 50%.
50% for goalkeeper is not
It's
bad.
not bad.
Rate Raya and rate Kepa.
You will also do 15%.
You will also do
Right,
50%.
Kepa.
Kepa is not bad because Kepa was Bournemouth's keeper last season.
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So would you put Kepa on a 60%? How many percent will you put a?
No, if I want to put
If you
Raya,
want to put Raya, yeah.
if I want to put Raya, right? I can put Raya maybe 80%.
Okay.
Kepa will be
And
60.
65%.
Yes.
It's not a bad
Kepa should not be 60%. I think Kepa should be higher than that.
That's what I'm saying. No
That's
matter
what I'm
what,
saying.
you still have like at least
50%.
15%.
No, you will not have at least 15%. You should have something like the gap within them should be like 10%.
That way I mean the gap is not much. That's
It's
the main
not
point.
much.
When you go
No,
to
you're not. God, you guys want to use number to justify it, but this thing is as clear as when you see these things happen on the pitch. It's as simple as what it
Okay, now,
looks
so-
like. The quality
so that we can
is bad.
so that we can
So
move
that
on.
we can move on.
So that we can
Yeah.
move on now. It's not about the quality of the player. In squad depth, it's not just about the quality of the but individual
I'm not
player.
speaking about just the
It's
quality.
the quality of the individual player to the person that is playing
It's very-
first. That's the
yes,
squad
now.
depth now.
Okay, now, Chegun, what I'm saying now, before now, is that your first team player is always having injury.
Yeah.
Your team felt that, okay, we can trust Chalobah enough
So
to fill in.
that's it now.
They analyze it and they look at, oh, the distance is not that much. You can't call it squad depth issue.
See, that's the point. I made an analogy when we were offline.
Mm.
I said something like, you have an headache. You went out to get paracetamol. You used paracetamol, but it did not work. Is the headache still there?
Yes, now
It is still there. That's the point. Because you have a
You-
player
I
there,
get your point
does
now.
not mean that you have
I
solved
get your point
the
now, and
problem.
that's what you said now. I get your point.
It's
The
the
issue
same
with Chelsea is not squad
squad
depth.
depth. It
It's
is
bad.
bad depth.
You can't. There's nothing like bad depth in football.
It's bad
You
depth.
don't-
We have invented it.
You don't invent
Okay,
it.
see,
Where
okay.
did it come up
The
from?
difference between
bad depth.
no, the thing is that the issue with Chelsea is not squad depth. The issue is that Chelsea has a bad squad depth.
Exactly. That's bad depth.
That's the truth.
That's
Now,
the truth.
squad depth is as simple
What you-
as
what-
you do not have this you don't have the quality that can take the place of what the regular guys.
Uh-huh.
It's as simple as that. We don't have the quality of the
Rashford,
guys that can
Rashford.
take the regular
You said
You
guys.
have a bad squad
You
depth.
said
You have
there's
squad
nothing-
depth because
You said there's nothing about squad depth. Let me just quickly do something.
Okay.
Now look at this now. In terms of squad depth, it means how good your backup are. Abi, there is good depth
and there's bad depth.
Relax. They say how good your backup are. You get the English.
Yes.
They're talking about quality.
Yes.
I'm telling you that
So-
it's about I'm
So
already shouting.
if
It's
your
about
quality,
quality. It's not about quality.
Wait, I
The
understand.
coach
We
English now.
don't cancel the quality.
We don't
You
cancel-
guys- no, we don't cancel the quantity.
Quantity.
You guys have quantity.
Yeah.
The question now is that if the quality in your squad depth is not there,
Yeah.
what do you call that squad depth?
No, it's still a squad depth problem. There's nothing like bad depth or good depth. Don't invent an English
That's
word.
a bad,
That is
bad squad
it's
depth.
a squad depth
Let
issue.
me
There
give
is
you
no-
an analogy. Let me give you an analogy. You are passing
Okay,
through
let's
a
say
road.
poor squad depth. Poor.
Wait. You only pass through a place whereby it's always tied and
Yeah.
it's always it's cleaned up. And all of a sudden you are seeing the refuge on and on.
Mhm.
And they said, oh, somebody is always cleaning this place. But you now ask, what happened to, we are still seeing the problem. They now said the second person that is there is not as hardworking as the person before.
Mm-hmm.
It means that guy is bad at his job.
Bad at his job. That's what it means. Because if he's good at his
If he's
job,
good at
you
his
feel
job,
him.
You will not even talk about squad depth.
Well, let's move on.
No, I don't think that works. It does not even.
It works.
You know,
like,
So okay, now we speak about squad depth and no squad depth. What do you think Chelsea can do to get out of this shitty problem that they find their
When you are buying players next time, buy player with sense. That's what we all say.
From your perspective.
See, one thing that people are going digital, and I think that if Chelsea want to get their model well, they also have to find a way to go digital too. It is natural for you to use data analysis to get some player. And at the same time, eye test does not deceive. That Ato, see, I pray that it is not highlight the scouts are watching, because highlights can be so interesting and very, very deceiving. But if actually the scouts go to that place, they have to also look at how strong the league is, how vibrant the league is. Do this person have the mental capacity to be in Chelsea? You understand? Yeah. My own case is that get a player in the Premier League that is at least closer to, you said it's not closer to what you have already. In fact, if your club is serious, if Chelsea is a serious club, I believe that Fofana should not be in Chelsea next season. For me, you can't be having a player getting injured on and on, and you said, okay, let's just use him. No, let him go so that someone else can come in. If Cowell is always having injury, he's young, let him go on loan.
No, Kobe does not always have injury. I get the Fofana part, but Kobe does not. One thing I would just like to address lastly on the Chelsea part is, I think the main issue should be on the board, like we have said. I think what they did was more of, our transfer is what we do, then we give the players to the coach, which I feel like is not, to some extent, is not the best model to use, because you look at you going on to go and get somebody like Ato. If Ato is the person that you want to get, you do not look at the system that Maresca is playing and what the requirement of the left back for a system is before you go on to go and get Ato. Because you are looking at Ato. Ato plays more like a traditional fullback, though he has a time where he sprints into the forward and go and do some things. But looking at the way Cucurella plays at Chelsea, he plays more like, he's a modern 3, and he plays more into the 10. But you cannot necessarily depend on Ato in that space, because Ato does more of, he turns his back to ball, and before he changes his position, he's being caught off guard. So I just think the transfer has to do something with the board.
You don't have problem with Cucurella.
I don't have problem with Cucurella. They just need to start looking at what the system require, then go and get the profile.
In short form, they should be sensible with their assignment.
Definitely. Yes. Definitely. Yeah. It's a message to the board. That's what I believe. So let's drop off the London thing. Let's go out of the London train and let's up on the Manchester train. Okay. Let's go into Manchester United. I believe they started out not really good in the way everybody's expecting. I guess at some point we were coming up with the idea like, oh, these teams look like they are bringing the last season form into this season. But looking at the recent match and everything, I think they are beginning to improve in the little aspects of the game, and it's becoming a whole improvement thing. So how is it for you at the club? How do you see things going at the club?
I don't think there's anything different from what we saw beginning of the season. I think it's just the fact that there were some games we had that were very bad games in between the season so far. But I think right from the first game of the season, you could see the improvements. It's just the fact that we've not played well for 90 minutes. You know, it's still difficult to see a game where we play for 90 minutes with the same consistency and same intensity. So that's one of the issues. You know, and obviously also United is a team that is suffering from a lot of problems, and so you cannot expect United to be consistent. So that's one of the issues. They're not consistent. They play well. When you look at the statistics about chances created and all those things, we are high up there. But, you know, we're not consistent. And that's why sometimes you can play a very good game, and then when is the next game, you know, they fumble. Sometimes also, they're also having symptoms of like the Chelsea team. In terms of the teams you expect that they will win United, most part United does well. Yeah. The teams you expect United should defeat easily, they don't do as much. So I think it's just also a team that is not consistent, a team that is still in developmental stages. And I think that sometimes because of the failures of last season, a lot of United fans are suffering from PTSD. And so there's always a loss brings back memories of, oh, we're going back to this team. And sometimes when they win, they start thinking of, oh, we can enter top 4. So I feel United fans are going to be like that. They can't change. But I just feel that there's progress, but there's still a lot of work to be done. A lot of work to be done in that team. So for me, I still maintain my stance. Finish 8th, and I'm okay with the season.
All right. So how is it from your side? What if you can pinpoint on things that you believe these are things that we have progressed on. What do you think those things will be?
Let me just first of all say that people have a short memory, and a lot of fans in the world, not only Manchester United fans, have a lot of short memories in the sense that if you look at last season, this team were in 15th for crying out loud. They were playing so bad that they cannot complete 3 passes in a game. And now you can see a progress whereby some players are even, you can see Manchester United having a pattern of pass. In fact, you know, if you are watching Manchester United game well, you know where Ahmad is going to pass the next ball to. Is that sweet? It's like players now know is that, a player should be here. Let me pass there. It shows that they are now adapting. They are sinking to the style of play. Now, Rome is not built in a day, but blocks are laid, bricks are laid day by day. It simply means that, yes, what we are seeing progress. But the problem here is that you cannot solve that problem, 15 years problem, in just one season. It doesn't work that way. Even if you are a professional at what you do, your first job ever, I'm not talking about football now, they have to give you time to learn on the job in those days, not like now. But now, this squad is just growing to the level that we all want to be. But everybody believes that it's a rocket science. The problem I'm seeing, number one, is that now Manchester United, a lot of people can see right now that there is a game style. That's number one progress. That they are playing with a purpose in their heart that, okay, this is how we have trained and this is how we are playing. Number two, Manchester United set piece game have improved. People are not seeing that. Why? They say, last season we suffered terribly with set piece, but we don't score. They score us a lot with set piece. But this season, the game changed, and nobody's talking about that. There was last season, there are some coaches that said it. There are some people, even pundits, said that just have a corner kick with Manchester United and it's a goal. But right now, it's quite different. So there's a lot of progress. Progress in the sense that players are showing the mentality that when they score us, we can score back. That's another progress. But people are not saying that. A lot of people are not saying that. And finally, there is progress for players feeling down when they lose matches. It has been long you have seen. I know people say, I have not seen. You will see their body language that they do not feel as comfortable as before. As before now. If you lose a match, the next thing, you will see every Manchester United players on Twitter or Instagram doing the best of thing. But after losing the match, they goes private. And this is beautiful. Another progress is leaking of tactics. It has reduced.
Let's stop there. Let's stop there. So let's address one issue that we feel like is something that's flying all around, probably in the football ecosystem or the Manchester United ecosystem, and it's the issue of mentality. The issue of mentality, you have spoken so much about it for people that watch the Shegun's Manchester United fans corner. So one thing I saw somebody speak about, and I tried to take it into consideration. Last season, where there was what we tag the bomb squad, the Rashford, the Sancho, the Garnacho, Anthony, their likes. When the things were not going well in the club, they put it on the coach like, they put it on the players like, these players are bad players, these players are this, these players are that. And the coach also take his own share of the cake. Now, coming into this season, it's kind of like we are still hearing the same news in the club. The mentality of these players are not going well. Where do you think that?
Let me go first.
Stems from? Please let Shego go first. Then you jump on.
Okay, so I think mentality is in different categories. The mentality we had against the likes of Rashford, Sancho was that they were not in Man United to play football. Especially Sancho wasn't there to play football. They didn't run like the way you want them to run. You understand? So that was the mentality in terms of their daily life. Did not only playing fortnights overnight. That was the mentality they had. They were not good players. You understand? In terms of having a life outside football. Sometimes you see Rashford partying all night. a professional player in Man United, having keeping late nights, you know? So you had those kind of issues. So that was the mentality issue that we had then. The mentality which we are having currently, beginning of the season or last season / beginning of the season, right? The issue we had that whenever we can be playing away for the first 15 minutes sometimes and be dominating the opponent, but once the opponent scores us, we crumble.
That was last season.
They will just score you one, and before you know it, we're like, you scored us now. Before you know, that one goal can become 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, right? So this season, now if you score one, right, and I can show you games like Nottingham Forest, Tottenham, we're leading 1-0.
Yeah.
You know, they scored us 2-1, and in that minute we came and scored 2-2. Yeah. We have that way of you can score us like Crystal Palace also. Yeah. Crystal Palace scored us, but we ended up winning the game 2-1. Yeah. Right? We can bounce. So that we have settled that. But the issue we're now having currently is another type of mentality in terms of when we score first down, we relax.
Yes.
We don't do what we have been doing before.
Yeah.
You understand? So this is not about lifestyle. It's about like keep doing what you are doing. That's why you see that our games for the past like maybe 5 or 6 games, we always score first most times. Yeah. And when we score first, we allow the opponent to come back into the game.
Exactly.
Before we now
go back again. Yeah.
So that's what we're saying. So the mentality is different. So the fact is United currently has a squad of players that their personal life reflects that they're professionals. We didn't have that before. Nobody can tell me that Asha was a professional for United. Yes, I know you might have had personal issues, but the fact was it was not running. You could see clips. Asha was not simply running. Sancho was not training well. Sancho was playing Fortnite overnight.
Playing games.
Anthony was just doing what Anthony was doing. You know, had the effort, but the quality wasn't there at some certain point. But it's different now. Every United player now, you can see that you can't fault any player now for not running. Yeah. But you can fault them maybe they're not applying themselves better in terms of finishing, in terms of crossing, in terms of understand, or doing better. But you cannot see this player is not running. You can't see that.
That's true. Now you have said most of it, so really, but people need to understand that mentality is in phases, and people and anybody that understand mentality will understand that there will be another mentality going forward later on, whereby we may need one goal, and we need that second goal to win. And we will not have it. So it's always in phases, and there will be a mentality whereby the team become cocky. Now that you have mastered all your game plan, people know that you can win every match, and you become cocky and you underrate teams. So that's thing of mentality. So it's in phases. But what Segun said right now is the current mentality they have is like complacency. We have scored one. Let us just enjoy the game. Relax. It's normal. Most teams also have that too. But it's just too much for Man U.
Even Man City currently has it. In terms of, you see, like 2 games they had. They showed, let's say they currently have it, they showed signs of it. Against Fulham, they were 5-1 and they came 5-4. Before that game, there was Leeds again.
Exactly.
So it's just about the fact that, but United is when we score first, we're like,
God, let's enjoy.
Let's enjoy.
Now, to come in another viewpoint of it. Now, I've seen Manchester United game. I think this season should be like one of the times where I constantly watch their match. So one thing I see is the level of intensity that they play with. When you see that charging into the game, and you see how, if we want to rate intensity on 100%, the intensity that they start the game with is something close to 90%. Because I don't see, if you go higher than that, maybe the pitch will just catch fire or something. So do you think it is logical to ask that they continue that kind of intensity for 90 minutes?
Okay, so the issue now is that when you say they start with 90 minutes, right?
Yeah.
When they now score, the intensity now drops to, let's say, 60.
Okay. Right? Drastic
now,
drop.
It drops to 60. You will now say, okay, maybe they're tired or something. But when they now scores,
you go back to 90.
Go back to 90. So, and football is, if you know that it's 80, you can maintain.
Maintain 80,
Maintain 80. You understand? And yes, you can drop your intensity because you are human beings playing. But don't drop your intensity. Drop your intensity maybe when we are scored like 3-0. Where you now control the game. That's football now. When you are scored like 2-3-0, you now try to say, guys, let's now control the game. Let's control the game. So that when we now see another opportunity again,
we score.
But we score one.
Everywhere down.
I know one in the Premier League.
It's not enough.
It's not, you know.
Never enough.
It's never enough.